All right, let's dive right into the Data Protection Bill of 2025. Think of it as a brand new and honestly a long overdue rulebook for our digital lives. And really, it all boils down to one huge question. And that question is this: who actually owns your digital self? You know, that trail of data you leave behind every single day, your clicks, your likes, your location, even your private messages. For a very long time, the answer to that has been kind of murky, right? But that is all about to change. So, this is where the Data Protection Bill of 2025 comes in. It's designed to be the definitive answer to that very question. The whole point is to cut through the confusion and, most importantly, put you back in control of your information. Now, when we say personal data, it's easy to just think of your name or your email address. But this law goes way, way broader. We're talking about everything from your health records and political opinions to your online browsing history. Basically, if a piece of information can be linked back to you, yep, that's personal data. And what about the companies and organizations that collect all this info? Well, the bill has a specific name for them: data controllers. And this isn't some niche term. Just think about it. We're talking social media companies, banks, your employer, even government departments, pretty much every institution you interact with. So let's just put this into perspective. Before this bill, things were, well, a mess. Your rights were fuzzy at best, and what companies were doing with your data was often a complete black box. But now, we're looking at clear legal rights, a demand for total transparency, and, crucially, a powerful authority to make sure everyone plays by the rules. This isn't just a small tweak, it's a massive shift in the power dynamic. Okay, let's get to the part that matters most to you and me: our new digital rights. This is where the law stops being just text on a page and becomes a set of actual tools that you can use to take control. So, the big question is, what are these new powers? What can you actually do now that you couldn't really do before? Well, for starters, you've got the right to access. That means you can go to any company and say, show me exactly what information you have on me. You also have the right to withdraw consent at any time. So if you told an app it could track your location, you can just change your mind. You can formally object to your data being processed. And this one is huge: the right to be forgotten, which lets you tell a company to completely erase your data. Oh, and you can put a stop to all that direct marketing for good. These aren't just suggestions, they are legally enforceable rights. And if you want to know the core philosophy behind this entire bill, it's summed up perfectly right here. Section 46, subsection 1, states it so clearly: personal data shall remain the property of the data subject. Let that sink in. It's your property. Not the company's, not the app's, yours. That single sentence is a complete game changer for data ownership. But, for us to have all these new rights, it means organizations have to have a whole new set of responsibilities. It's a two-way street. So let's flip the coin and look at the new rules for all those data controllers. Okay, so companies can't just operate in the Wild West anymore. They now have to live by these core data protection principles. Things like accountability. They're on the hook for what happens to your data. Lawfulness. They need a legitimate reason to process it. Purpose specification. They have to tell you why they need it. And of course, they have to be open about it and have strong security in place. These are the new commandments of data handling. And there's this really key new rule called data protection by design. What this means is that privacy can't be an afterthought anymore, something they just bolt on at the end. It has to be baked into their systems from the ground up, from the very beginning. It's a total shift from being reactive to being proactive about protecting our information. So, what happens when things go wrong? Because let's be real, data breaches happen. Well, now there's a strict, mandatory process. Once a breach is discovered, the clock starts ticking. They have just 72 hours to notify the new authority. And then they have to notify you if your data was part of it. No more hiding it for months or sweeping it under the rug. It's all about transparency, fast. All right, so we've got these awesome new rights for us, and we've got these strict new rules for them. But rules are only as good as their enforcement, right? So who's the watchdog here? Who's going to make sure everyone is actually following through? That's where the new Data Protection Authority comes in. This isn't just another government committee. The bill establishes it as a new, independent body, and that's the key word: independent. Its one and only job is to investigate complaints and protect your rights without outside influence. And the best part? They've made the process for making a complaint super straightforward. You don't need a team of lawyers. You just lodge a written complaint with the authority. They do the heavy lifting. They investigate, they get a response from the organization, and then they issue a final, legally binding decision. It's a clear, accessible path to get things sorted. But what happens if an organization just ignores the rules or tries to fight a ruling? Well, let's just say these new rules have some pretty serious consequences for anyone who doesn't comply. Just to give you an idea of how serious this is, if an organization doesn't even bother to register itself as a data controller, they could be facing a penalty of up to 100,000 penalty units. So yeah, this law absolutely has some real financial teeth to make sure everyone takes it seriously. So when you put it all together, what you're seeing is a fundamental shift. The power over your data is finally shifting back to you. The law gives you the framework, it gives you the rights, and it gives you the enforcement to back it all up. Really, the only question left is, now that you have these powers, how are you going to use them?